Hey guys, I am losing daylight out here and I wanted to open up this box really quickly of my new import Anthurium because I don't want to do this in my house because who knows what we're bringing over here. These are imported from Ecuador, I believe. So let's see. I don't even remember exactly what I purchased. And it was a little while ago, so this is what we got so far. I'll bring them closer to the screen once I get them out of the box. And this is how they send them to me in the box. They're gonna be most likely bare root or in moss because it ships easier that way. So here's the first one. It is Anthurium pallitiflorum. And I'm afraid I'm gonna tear it. I don't know where the plant starts. So I'm gonna attempt to be slightly gentle. And I gotta save the name tags too because I will not know which plant is which. It's definitely moist paper. I'm so excited to have this pally. Please don't tear. Okay, let me get it out of the cotton and I will show it to you. I will show you the process of what I do with my imports also. Oh, it's got a torn leaf. It's okay though. It's okay though. It is in moss. I will get it out of the moss and get it cleaned up. We got some holes in the leaf. This leaf is torn. This one's a little rolled up, but it's okay. Look at that nice long leaf. All right, let me get the next one. Next one is a pallitiflorium by Carla Blackier. So let's see how this one looks. Get the fluff off here. Okay, this one looks really good. This is pallitiflorum by Carla Blackier. Look how pretty. I love the way this leaf shape is. I don't know what it's gonna look like mature, but all the leaves are in really good shape. This one's got a little bit of a crinkle in it down here, but it's really not that big of a deal. The rest of them are literally in perfect shape. Perfect. And it's also in moss. So I have a couple more here. The next one is another plain pallitiflorium. Boy, was I excited with the pallies or what? I do want to make like a bunch of pallies that get really long that I can just hang or like put on top of my Mills bow cabinets so they like drape down because they're so stunning and gorgeous and I can't get enough of them. Plus, you know, who buys just one of a plant? Psh, you gotta have backup. What if something happens? Duh. All right, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that does that. It's quite possible. This baby looks like it might be a little longer than the first one I got. Also in moss. Let me get the little fluffs off. Let me unwrap her. Oh yeah, her leaves are much longer. Oh, damaged, but much longer. Okay. Let's see. I don't know how she goes. I think this way. This way? Okay, so this leaf has some tears in it. This leaf just broke straight off. it goes this way. This is a nice long pretty leaf though, and this one is a nice long pretty leaf, and both of these leaves are really good, so we're not doing too bad. She's also in moss, and I have, I think, 2 more. Let me just grab the name tag. No, I'm making a video, but thank you. All right, this one is a Queen of Hearts. I've been looking forward, whoo, if I don't kill it, I've been really looking forward to this one, like a lot. I love how dark these leaves get on the Queen of Hearts. I'm so excited to have this one in my collection. Please, please, please be okay. Let's get it out of here. This one is not in a cup. Let's just get the fluff off. Oh boy, she's beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. And this one, oh my God, gorgeous, gorgeous, dark. This is dark burgundy emergent. It's so gorgeous. These leaves are so dark. It's hard to tell with the light shining directly on here, but they really are. And I have 1 more, and then I will go inside and show you what's next. And this last baby is, oh my God, guess what? It's a pally mixed with forgetii. Good God, I was happy with the pallies. What was I doing that day? I wonder if I spread these orders over more than 1 day and they shipped them all together, because I honestly don't, well, 1's mixed with Carla Blackier, 2 are plain pallies, and then this one is mixed with forgetii. So I guess, I don't know what I was thinking. Boy, this is a pain in the butt to get out of here. Get the floof off. Also in moss, they all come in moss, which is pretty standard for the imports. And it's looking pretty good. A little bit of cosmetic damage, nothing major. Looking nice, looking nice. This is Pally by Forgetii. Got a nice closed sinus up here, which I love about the Forgetii. No damage really, a little bent on this emergent. I don't know how this is gonna go. I see a little bit of yellowing that I couldn't see until the light hit it, but it's an emergent and it just traveled from Ecuador. So some minor cosmetic damage on this leaf, but nothing really crazy. Hopefully the roots all look good. I will find out when I get it inside, so I'll see you for the next step. All right, so the next part I'm gonna do is mix up a couple of different cups of water, 1 for each plant, and I mix in some nurture systems, rapid recovery for intensive rehabilitation. This dramatically helps cut down on import stress. So I can't say enough how much I love this product. And then my next step is going to be to wash down every single plant here with my DIY pest spray. Make sure everything is good and clean. I'm going to take it out of the moss. I'm going to wash all the roots down, and I'm going to wash all the leaves off, and then I'm going to pop them over in there for 24 hours. Excuse the cereal in the sink. This is real life, guys. Give me a second and I'll show you what that process looks like. All right, so here they are after I have washed everything down and put them in cups of distilled water with the nurture system. Number 3, all the roots look good and healthy on everything. There is the ace of Queen of Hearts, Queen of Hearts. We have the Pali Carla Blackier roots here, nice and white and chunky. So everything will stay here soaking for 24 hours, basically in quarantine, away from all my other plants in the house and in the shop. And when I get my containers, which I believe will be here tomorrow, I will show you the next step in the process. Until then, I will let them soak. Also, if you're interested in getting the number 3 nurture system, it is in my shop. I will put a shop link down in the description. See you as soon as I get my containers. Hey friends! Today we are going to pot up those imports that I got. You saw me put them out of the substrate and into the water cups to just hang out for 24 hours. It's actually been 48 hours because I had to wait for my set of bins to come in because I used up all the bins that I had. So I didn't know these were coming the day that I got them. So we're gonna get those potted up today and put into isolation. So if you're importing for the first time, hopefully this will help you. If you are new here, I am Talon. I am the runner of this Rooted Chaos. I also own Thrive Theory Plant Shop. And if you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you coming to my chaotic videos. They're not very coordinated, but it is what it is. And I just really hope that I can help somebody who's maybe never done this before and needs a little bit of guidance. Okay, so stay tuned. Here we go. We are working in my kitchen today because I have a lot of planty things that I need to get done, and potentially I'll get some filmed, but I need the sink near me and I just need counter space because let me tell you, my back is hurting and I just don't feel like sitting on the floor or doing this in the shop because it's just too much that I have to get done. Okay, so we're gonna be in the kitchen, just pretend like we're in the shop or something. Let me fix this camera because I feel like it's tilted. Maybe that's a little bit better. Okay. Anyway, the first one we're going to do is the Anthurium pallitiflorum by Forgetii. This is what it looks like. She's very pretty. A little bit of cosmetic damage on some of the leaves. Not a big deal. This is the emergent, but the emergent has some damage to the leaf, but again, it was imported, so we're just gonna have to hope for the best on the next round. So I'm gonna put these into pon. That is my Anthurium go-to. I have my self-watering cups that I made. All the supplies, I'm pretty sure, are linked in my Amazon storefront. I will check it and then link it in the description below. But we have the little inner pot here that I have put some holes in, if you can see it. I have my wicking cord, and then I have the straw, and then this is the outer cache pot. So it just sits in here like this, and the wick will wick up the water from the reservoir down below and feed the plant. So first I'm going to put a little bit of pon down in the bottom. I'm going to fill it about not quite a third, maybe full at the bottom. I want to make sure that my string is a little bit up so it does wet the pon. What did I do? Okay, there we go. I just want to bury it just a tad under the pon. That way it doesn't sit directly on my roots. So this is what we have looking like right now. And I'm going to see if I put too much in here. I don't know if I did, how much root we got going on. I may need to take some out. Yeah, maybe just a little. I'll just dump a little bit of this out. Set your plant down in there. It's really hard when I'm making these because I like the self-watering cups with the pon, but when you're working with Anthurium, it's a little bit hard to get the deepest, you got to get them kind of deep because Anthurium are pretty deep. So now that I have that in there, I'm just going to backfill the pon around it. Let me take it out of here so you can see. and so I can see. I don't want large air gaps around the roots, so I'm just gonna kind of tap it in, make sure my roots are good, and just fill it up. Get as much of it covered as I can without making a huge mess. All right, so it looks pretty good down there. Here we go. Covered up, and then I'm just gonna sit it down in my reservoir, and I'm gonna, well, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run some water around in here just to wet it up first. And it's like room temperature water that I'm wetting it with, kind of rinsing that pond off. I do rinse all of my pond ahead of time outside. It's not really a good idea to rinse it from like the first time you're rinsing it. You don't really want to rinse it in your sink because that dust or whatever that is that comes off of it will clog up your pipes after some time. So I do rinse it outside, but then it sits in the bucket. So before I use it, I just give it a nice little rinse again. So now that that's good, I'll put that in here and I'll just water it in with my nutrient solution. Do I have enough in there? Yes. There we go. And then I'm going to find the plant tag that goes along with it. I made up my plant tags ahead of time. Here we are. Papillanimum by Forgetii. And I'll just pop the little plant tag down in there so I don't forget which one it is, because I always think I'm going to remember and then I never do. And then I also have my beneficial mite packet that I'm going to stick down in the side of that as well. And that's what it looks like. I use DMV beneficials. Beneficial bugs are very important to have. If you're a plant owner, please don't think that just because you clean your plants or you're in the house and they all grow indoors that you're never going to get pests. Because if you think that way, you're just fooling yourself. Doesn't make you a bad plant parent. It just is part of the plant life. It just is what it is. You're going to get pests at some form, some type, somewhere if you are a plant parent for any extended period of time. I hope for you that it's never, but it's inevitable, and I hope that you're prepared. So I use these beneficial mites because I have upwards of 600 to 700 plants. Probably more, because those are my shop plants and I probably have a couple hundred of my personal plants. So I use beneficial mites. DMV Beneficials is amazing. If you live local to me, I do have a local chapter where you can get free shipping and stuff. If you are not local to me, you can go to www.dmvbeneficials.com. I am not sponsored. They do not pay me. It is nothing like that. I'm just telling you purely because it's important. All right, so anyway, moving right along, this is the Anthurium forgetii by Papillanimum by Forgetii. So here's this one. I'm going to just set this aside. Once we're done, I'll show you what it how they all go in the bin. I'm just going to set this over there, dump out this solution, leave that in the sink. Next we have a pap, just a pap. This one has some holes in it. It came to me this way, and this leaf has a big chunk missing out of it. If you can see it, there it is. And then the next leaf is a little twisty. So let's just, but it's got beautiful long leaves. So hopefully it bounces back really quickly. These are the roots. The roots look good. If you do get an import, you just want to pull off any roots that just pull off easily. When you get it, just pop them off. If they look rotted, you know, break them off. They're going to grow new roots. It's going to all be fine. So for the next one, I have my cup that I made with my wick in it. And again, I'm just going to put some pond down at the bottom here. I got a hair in there. Let's see what else. So in the first part of this video, you saw that I unboxed them. I unboxed them outside just because I don't know what kind of plant pests or pests in general. It's coming from another country and I just would rather be safe than sorry. Then I washed it all down with my DIY pest spray. I probably have a video on that too, but in case you need to know, it is Castile peppermint soap, Castile tea tree soap, rubbing alcohol, and peroxide mixed together. And I shake it all up and wash it all down. And that's just my way of, you know, washing off anything that may be on there currently. And then I put them into the cups of nutrient solution. I use the Kaylee Ellen's Nurture System. And then to kind of help with the transplant shock, let them sit in there 24, 48 hours. And then go ahead and pot them up. Some people like to repot them in a moss, sphagnum moss first, and acclimate them a little bit more before they put them in their forever substrate or whatever. That's fine. Some people use fluval stratum. Some people use fluval stratum and perlite. If it didn't have roots, and I was rooting it from scratch, or the roots came in rotted, which sometimes it does happen, I would use a fluval stratum perlite combination. But I'm not having that issue, so I'm not gonna do that. And once again, I'm just gonna rinse this through just to get any of the thing that was already on there. I already cleaned it, but like I said, there's always a little bit that kind of just dries on there and hangs out. And it's sometimes easier when you're using it in a smaller quantity than trying to rinse through a giant tub of it, which is what I'm usually doing when I'm first rinsing. Okay, so we got that. I'm gonna put it in the cup and I'm just gonna water it from the top with my nutrient solution to get that on the pond. Make sure I have enough down in the reservoir. And I do. I'm sorry, I got a phone call, and when I did, it stopped filming. And even though I declined the call, it still didn't go back to filming, and I didn't realize it. So you didn't get to see me pot up the rest of that last one, but it doesn't really matter. It's fine. So next we're on to the Anthurium Queen of Hearts. Look how beautiful this is. I love how dark these leaves get. And the root system looks really, really good, especially for an import. Wow. I love it. All right, so for this one, I'm using a big container because I need to make sure that those roots have room to grow, like room to spread out. And this is the only one I have. So let me also say that typically, when you're potting up a plant, you don't want to give it a ton of space because you can cause root rot. You can, you know, the plants just don't need a ton of space. It's really not that good for them. However, I find that Anthurium are the exception to that. Anthurium, I don't want to tell you to get like a seedling and put it in a tray this size or a pot this size, because that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying instead of going up like 1 little inch, you're going to go up like a little bit. Like here's this root size, here's this pot. I could go down a size, but I'm going to give it a little bit of space. It's actually not even that big. I probably could even go bigger with this, but I am going to start it out in this one because I just want to make sure it's good first before I, you know, make sure I'm going to leave it in pond, all that stuff. I think the majority of my Anthurium are in pond. I probably have maybe 2 or 3 of them in a tree fern fiber. And I was talking about other substrates that you could be using, And I feel like it got cut off when it stopped recording for that phone call, and I didn't know that it stopped recording. So I'm just going to say it again just in case. But if I said it already, I am sorry. So you don't have to use pond. You can use whatever makes you happy. A lot of people will put their imports in moss. A lot of people will put them in a fluval stratum perlite combination, chunky soil mix. I prefer tree fern fiber and pond mixed together. That's really good of a substrate, but for me personally, I particularly prefer pond for my alocasia. There might be a couple I have in leca, and I probably have maybe 2 or 3 in a tree fern fiber pond mixture. But, and I think there's some perlite in there, some chunky number 3 perlite is probably in that tree fern too. But anthurium like to have consistency, right? You need that consistency with them. So they want to be watered on a consistent basis, a consistent schedule. They don't want to completely like be bone dry. Then you'll get dry rot on the roots. So for me in my life, I try to check my plants on Wednesdays, and then I check them again on Sundays. But that doesn't mean they're all getting watered on Wednesday and Sunday, because you have to wait and see if the soil's dry or whatever the case. It's going to be different for every single person. So I prefer semi-hydro. I've just found that it works better for me in my life. I am an overwaterer chronically. So to kind of prevent that, I use semi-hydro with these self-watering pot setup, and it just seems to work out for me to prevent me from overwatering. Plant tag, pop that little baby in there. And beneficials, we'll pop this in here. And now the Queen of Hearts is ready to go off to the side until I am ready to put them in the bin. We have one more to go, one more. This last one is the Pap by Carla Blackier. Look at these roots. These roots look really good. Oh, if you guys can hear my grandson, he is fighting sleep. He has some major FOMO. These are great. These are the leaves. It's really beautiful. This one really has almost no cosmetic damage. A little bit right there, a little bit of yellowing, and that's really it. So we'll get this one ready. And then I'm probably going to have to take a break to see what my little guy needs over there. Got the last pot ready. I'm going to just fill the bottom up with some pond. Same thing as the other ones. You just put a little in the bottom, let your string kind of be up a little bit, and put your plant in there. Spread the roots out. He's really not happy right now. He is fighting his sleep so bad, and he's usually such a good baby. I don't know if you can hear him. He's also teething. Poor little thing. I think it's probably ready for his next batch of Tylenol. Just make sure that the pond fills in the spaces. You don't want to be left with any large gaps without pond there, because then it's just air and you might get some dry rot. So give it a good tap, settle it all down in there, backfill the rest till it's covering your root system. Rinse it through. See, it's like a little bit cloudy still, but again, I did clean all this, so it's really not bad, just a little bit cloudy. And I got a lot of drainage holes in there from when I'm making my cups. I make sure to put them along the sides and along the bottom so it's not sitting in a puddle, pot it up in the cup, push the straw down, and top water right now so there's some nutrient solution on there. And then after this, I will just bottom water it. Isn't she pretty? So pretty. Pop my tag down in there, and I don't have any more mite packets. That was my last one, but there's going to be 4 of them of the 5 in the bin, so I think I should be fine. So that is it, and how I take them out of the water nutrient solution that they've been soaking in, transfer them into pond, and next we're gonna put them in the prop bins, and I'll show you what I do for that. But first I need to take a quick break and tend to my grandson, so I'll be back. Okay, and here's what they look like in the box. So I put them in these Tupperware, clear Tupperware bins, and I put the pallidiflorums on top of cups so they are up higher, so their leaves aren't touching the floor. And then the other ones are in there, and I put one container on top of the other container because I needed them to be tall enough. And then I just set the lights on top. Now I do see people that take these lights and put double-sided tape or what have you and mount them on the underside of the plastic, and that's also fine. But then you have to put a hole in there so the cords can get out, or the cord can get out, and that kind of defeats my purpose. Like, I wanted it to be closed because they're in quarantine. It's not particularly a humidity situation, it is a quarantine situation. So in order for me to make sure that they're fully closed up, I did not put another hole in there, and I could run the cord just out through like the center where the 2 pieces meet, but I didn't want to do any of that. So they're just sitting on top, which are perfectly fine that way. I do it all the time. I will put the grow lights and these clear containers in my Amazon storefront. So if you want to check it out, by all means, please excuse the fact that we're in my room next to my my laundry bin. This just happens to be where I have space next to an outlet right now, and I have the ability to store this outside of the rest of my plants. So this is what we have going on right now. And stay tuned, because once we get a week or 2 in, I will give you some updates. Until next time, thank you so much for watching me. Bye.